Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about systems of linear equations. The idea of systems of linear equations is we have several linear equations and we're trying to find a solution. For example, here we have a linear equation, two of them, and we would want to try and find a solution to this system. Or here's another system of two equations. And notice that we have two unknowns, which are x and y, which we don't know what they are. And then we have two equations. And so that's what we call a system of linear equations. Sometimes you could have three equations, 4 or 5. So that's a system. And sometimes you could have 3 variables or 4 or 5 variables. Imagine you could actually have 100 variables and 100 equations. But once you have the same amount of variables as equations, you can actually find a solution, if there is one, to these types of equations. There's several types of solutions we can look for. The solution to a system may be a point or an odd pair. It may be many points, or there may not be a solution. And so we're going to take different methods or different approaches to solving systems of linear equations. And the first method is just by graphing lines and finding the intersection. Let's look at that now. Here we have a system of equations, linear equations. The first equation says x plus 3y equals 10. The second one is x plus y equals 2. These are two linear equations which have a solution to them. The solution is where these two lines, because these are two lines, intersect. And so we're asked to solve the system by graphing. So in order to graph these two equations, the first thing we need to do is construct a table to graph the lines. Here we have our tables. The first one for minus x plus 3y equals 10. If x is 0, y is going to be 10 over 3. And if y is 0, then x is going to be negative 10. And then we plug in if x is 2, we get 10 plus 2, move that over, we get 12, divided by 3 is 4. So you could verify these 3 points lie on that line. The next line, x plus y equals 2, we have if x is 0, y is 2. If y is 0, x is 2. And then if x is 4, we move the 4 over. 2 minus 4 gives us negative 2. So y is negative 2. Again, you should verify that these 3 points satisfy that equation. Now we need to plot both of these lines like this. Well, here's a graph of negative x plus 3y equals 10. We have the 3 points here, negative 10, 0, 0, 10 thirds, and 2, 4. So that's the first line we're looking at. The second line is x plus y equals 2. And so we're going to plot that on, and it's going to look like this. And so the second line is now here. The new line, x plus y equals 2. And so we have both lines here. The red line and the orange line, and where they intersect is the solution to this system of equations. So where did they intersect? Well, it looks like they intersect right here, negative 1, 3, right here, at the point negative 1, 3. Now, if negative 1, 3 is indeed the solution to this system of equations, then this point must satisfy both of those equations. And so we need to plug in negative 1 and 3 into both equations to see if they actually satisfy both. Let's do that. So this first equation, negative x plus 3y equals 10, I'm going to plug in the point negative 1, 3. So we'll get minus 1 plus 3 times 3, y is 3. Is that equal to 10? And if we look at it, if we calculate it, we get 1 plus 9 is 10. So yes, that works. And we'll also plug in this point into x plus y equals 2. So we'll have negative 1 plus 3. Is that equal to 2? And yes, that is equal to 2. Therefore, this point is my solution to the system of equations. This point where the two lines intersect. And we just checked it and we verified that. Now, there is a way we can do this. We have to graph this by hand. We can use technology to graph these equations as well. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, if you want to solve the system of equations on a calculator, you first have to solve each equation for y. You notice that negative x plus 3y equals 10. If we solve that for y, we get y equals 10 plus x, all divided by 3. Similarly, if we solve x plus y equals 2 for y, we get y equal 2 minus x. Once we solve them for y, we input them under the y equals editor. And so the first one I'm going to put in as 10 plus x, parentheses 10 plus x, close parentheses, divided by 3. And the second one is 2 minus x, so 2 minus x. And we want to graph these and find the intersection. In order to graph them, you have to hit the graph button. But first you should hit the zoom button, zoom, and then 6. 6 means standard. You see one line, the other line. Now we want to find the intersection of these two graphs. In order to do that, you have to go second, trace, and scroll down to intersect. Hit enter. It says first curve, enter, second curve, enter. Guess, enter. It's not really guessing, it's doing a calculation. But when you hit enter, you see the intersection comes out to be -1, x equals -1, y equals 3. So that's how you would input this information into a graphing calculator and find the solution to this system of equations.